So, hi Roger, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, we're here again. I'm very well, and I'm happy to see you again. And
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, I look forward to this talk. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm happy, as I said too. I'm happy to have you here today and be talking to you about this movie that we are going to talk about
Mm.
called The Matrix. Yeah, so I wanted to show you. I created a presentation for this conversation. It's not saying much. How can I say it? It's not
It's
huge.
not
It's not.
much. It's
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 not
not
much.
much.
It's not much, but I think you'd be good to no, not this to guide, or at least to
Mm.
remember the points that I wanted to talk to you about. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. It's good.
Yes. So, the first question I have for you today is: did you like this movie? When did you watch? Do you carry any insights? Did this movie change you or your views? Did it impact you? Had an impact on you? What do you think about the Matrix?
Yeah. I really liked this movie. I don't remember the first time I watched it. I must have watched it as a kid the first time and watched all of them. Are we talking about just the first movie or all three?
The first today.
Yeah, yeah. I think the first one's the best. I think the first time I watched it as a kid, I think I just thought it was a cool movie, and I like the kung fu fighting in it. But then watching it again later after uh, having got into philosophy and meditation, I think you can see more of the underlying themes that the film is trying to present. And yeah, no, I think it's done really well.
Oh wow, wow. Yes, yeah, for me too. How old are you, George? Roger, sorry. How
Yeah,
old are you?
I'm 25, but I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm rocking a mustache at the moment, so I don't know if that makes me look I don't know, a little older.
It does, it does, it does. But I always
Yeah,
kind of knew that you were young. Yeah.
yeah. But no, I'm 25 under the mustache. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I am 31, but when I watched this movie, I was a little kid as well the first time, and I remember liking it but not understanding
Mm.
obviously, because how could I? But it was interesting because I watched this movie. I was 12, or I didn't watch it in 1999. I watched a bit later because 1999 was when it was released on the
Okay.
theaters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember I always enjoyed reading, and I remember watching it in a week, and then the next week I went to this library where there was this book called The Matrix: Welcome to the Desert of the Real, and it was. I don't remember now the authors. I will search later, but I remember it was an explanation on the movie that I obviously couldn't
Of the movie. Of the
of
movie.
the movie. Yes,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was an explanation, and I remember buying it and reading
Mm.
it, and it was surprise that I guess it was my first contact with philosophy at the age of 12, 13. The explanations, and then I thought, wow, that movie is deep, and I always kept that book. I still have it, and from times to times I read it, but
Mm.
it made sense, sort of. But
Not from times to times, but from time to time.
mm,
No S.
mm, thank you. From time to time, I have written it, and but only recently this movie sort of made sense for me. It hit me in another level
Mm.
when I started
Yeah.
meditation and non-duality studies, and yeah, and other deeper readings. It was when I understood that there was, how can I say this? There were the rabbit hole was deeper than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
yes. So so this movie, it is a 1989 movie. It is about this guy named Thomas Anderson that during the days he's a respectful computer programmer,
mm,
but then by the night or aside, he's a
yeah,
wrecker.
on the side, on the side.
On the side, he is this great hacker, and he doesn't know that unknowingly human mind has been trapped by machines,
Mm,
and because the machines needed the human energy, the human body produces energy.
mm.
So, but he kind of suspect that there is something wrong with reality. He's questioning reality. And then Morpheus, an outlaw, can I say he's an outlaw, reaches out to him.
Yeah, so an outlaw is someone who breaks the law.
Okay, so
So,
would you say Morpheus is an
well,
outlaw?
Morpheus is an outlaw. It's more than that, you know. He's an I don't know, a total outsider. Is
An
he's
outsider.
completely sort of out of the
Mm-hmm.
system. So that's more than an outlaw, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So he knows that Neo is questioning reality, so he contacts him. He said, follow the white rabbit.
yeah,
And then he ends up in a club, and he meets Trinity, how is
Trinity. Yeah,
Trinity, and then they have this conversation. Can you see?
yeah, I see.
Um, 1 second. Oh, okay. So she says, "You know the question just as I did." And he knew the question, what is the matrix? The answer is out there, Neo. It's looking for you. And it will find you if you want it to. Yeah, so he's in the club. He followed the rabbit, the white rabbit. And that takes place before he understands what the matrix is. And I was very curious because even though he knew nothing about Morpheus, I mean, he had heard about him, but he
Mm,
still didn't know what the Matrix was. But he was open to the possibility that the world that he lived wasn't real. And when she refers to this question, he's not surprised. And yeah, so I wanted to ask you if you has ever felt like we lived inside of Matrix, or
mm.
before you knew, I mean, before you were in the past that I know you are in, have you ever felt weird about reality and about how things were?
Yeah, well, you know, I think almost certainly it's kind of hard to remember how I felt or who I was so long ago. But yeah, I mean, I've always been inquisitive about really what is reality, what is going on here. Um, the simulation sort of hypothesis, I wouldn't have known about it or had a name to give it or anything. But yeah, if you want to ask me now how I feel about this sort of question now, it's a different kind
Ah,
of response. But
so
yeah.
I want to ask you. I want to
Oh,
ask you now.
so now,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I definitely have the sense that yeah, there's something simulation like about our perceived reality, and who knows what is creating the wall of consciousness, but you know, is it coming from God, or you know, supercomputers in the future, or just the brain generates this? But it, yeah, there's something interesting to observe about the nature of your experience,
Yeah.
that it's perceptual, and it seems like a replication of some kind. It seems like a simulation. There's something to see that it's not. Yeah, this isn't base reality. This is, yeah. What do you make of this question?
Mm. It is a difficult question. What is the matrix? What is the nature of reality? I I, I honestly don't know, but I feel it's not what it looks like. It is way deeper than that, but I mean, I still have no clue. But I I have this question. I have had this question with me. What is going on? What the hell is going on
Mm,
here? But I do not know
mm,
yet. Or will I
yeah.
ever know? Yes. So
I just love that you have that question. I don't hear enough people asking this, like, what is this? What is going on? Really, what do we find ourselves within?
yeah,
So it's just good to hear. Even if you don't have the answer, it's good to hear
yeah.
that you're
No,
questioning.
yeah. And I always wanted to know if there were people feeling like. So I have been asking this to people, like, don't you find this strange? What that we are here?
Mm.
But but I but I think we have so many problems to deal on a daily basis that
To,
we
to deal with, to
should
deal
deal
with.
with. Transactional stuff that we get busy and distracted, and we don't realize how strange everything is. So, so yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, 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 yeah.
hmm So, I would like to talk to you too. 1 second. Um, oh, okay. So, I don't know if you can hear this. I love this. So when Neil meets Morpheus for the first time, and they meet inside the matrix in a old building, and then he offers him this possibility, like he says, this is your last chance. After this there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Mm,
So I think that's the best part of the movie. And just yesterday, I was talking to my brother on the phone about this movie, and um, and how it ends. And if I mean, I always tell myself that I want to know the truth, no matter what, no matter how ugly and inconvenient it is to my
inconvenient.
inconvenient it is to my personal agenda, to my existence. I want to know. I would rather have that than being delusional.
Mm,
But
mm,
then we were talking about people were living in this movie, because the truth might be ugly. They didn't have food. The world is destroyed.
yeah.
um, and living in the matrix was better. I mean, easier at least,
Mm, mm,
even
yeah.
though it was fake and a simulation. So if you take the blue pill, you can control your story, even though it will have no basis in truth. But if you take the red pill, you'll be like thrown inside a world that you have never imagined, and everything literally could happen. So
Yeah.
it is not an easy choice. What do you think?
No. Yeah, I think there's something to. Yeah, I mean, we ought to really value truth. I think, and there's something that I wonder about. I think at the end of the day, what we want is to increase our well-being. We don't want to suffer
Yeah.
as sentient beings, and it would be pretty horrific if you find out there are truths to discover about the world that do not increase your well-being, or might not even increase the well-being of everyone. Um, However, I have this thought. I wonder. It's like we still ought to pursue the truth, because just in case there is something to discover, which could maybe I don't know, could lead to insights into how we could rewrite the source code of reality and increase people's well-being and reduce their suffering, or maybe even discover something and realize that, oh, actually the highest value is not increasing well-being and reducing suffering. There might be something that we could discover that totally changes our way of understanding reality. And so some thoughts I have.
Interesting, interesting. So maybe you think that there's, I mean, not that there is to know is worth knowing. It might not be if it's not to
Can you say
increase.
that again?
Of course, yes. So there are a lot of, so the point of discovering truth is, at least now, is increase our well-being. So let's say
is to increase.
is to increase our well-being. But if truth does the opposite of it, it might not, if it brings confusion and pain, maybe it's not beneficial to discover. You think so?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the beginning
Yeah.
thoughts of my
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
my ideas. But yeah, you can we could discuss that more or something. What do you think about that? Do
No.
you reject that notion, or?
Yeah. No. I think that, like in the movie, like in the last movie, when people get the choice if they want to, because not everyone is prepared to know, right? I think maybe, I feel like people are getting more conscious now. I mean, I think it's not like a lot of people, but I feel like people who, they some of my friends that I couldn't talk about spirituality before, they have heard now of Eckhart Tolle, for example. They have read The Power of Now. So it's easy to start and have more conversations about what is the mind, what is going on, what is reality, meditation, and how to improve the quality of our interactions, and you know um, but I feel like we are not ready yet to wake up from the matrix or the dream or whatever that is. um, it could destroy us, like the truth. I think maybe it could be so massive and so, I don't know, great and difficult too.
Which waking up to what kind of truth are you talking about?
Like I was talking about the Matrix, just, but it could be. I still don't know what the truth is in our world. Like
Oh, if we lived in the Matrix,
if we
if
lived in the
everyone were to find
Matrix.
out now, yeah, it would destroy
Yeah,
us. Oh,
yeah,
right, okay. Yeah.
yeah. Because even Neo, he wanted to, but it still was difficult for him. He in the beginning he froze up. He can't understand, and that I find particularly interesting, the scene where he thinks that the light hurts his eyes because he's seeing for the first time,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a lot of great scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So have you made a decision about the red pill and the blue pill?
In this specific context, if as if I were Neo and there was Morpheus in front of me saying the same things, and I'm in the same building, you mean?
Yeah, and in your life as well.
Yeah. The reason why I ask is because actually this idea of taking the red pill is become a metaphor for so many different
Yeah.
sort of movements and scenes. There's ideas on like taking the red pill when it comes to you know I don't know, if you like that, the men's rights activist sort of scenes where they talk about taking the red pill and seeing how dating really works and blah blah blah. But yeah,
Interesting.
people use this analogy all the times. But in this context, well, it's funny because I mean, I would be very skeptical of taking a pill from a stranger. You know? I'd be very worried about that, and I would want more. I really want more information. You know, I think presented in the way that Morpheus presents it, I probably wouldn't be ready to make a decision and take a pill at that point. Yeah.
Mhm.
What about you?
Wow. It is interesting because he quotes here. He talks about Alice in Wonderland. Have you read the book?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
And I remember actually Disney Plus just arrived in Brazil, was released in Brazil last week. And I decided to buy a subscription because of Alice in Wonderland. I wanted to watch it, and that there are some great Disney movies that I liked. So I was watching it way before I thought about talking about this movie with you. And I was watching again. I've seen it 1,000 times, but I was watching again, and then Alice, he followed this white rabbit the the hole.
Yeah, yeah. Down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole, and um, I remember thinking every time I've seen it, I remember thinking, but she, she just follow it. She doesn't know where she's going. She follows in the rabbit. Fell. She falls in the
She
rabbit
she
hole.
falls she falls down the
She
hole
falls
in the
down,
rabbit hole.
and then clearly the laws of physics stopped working when she falls because she's floating.
Yeah.
But not once she thinks that that's weird at
Not
all.
once does she think that that's
Not once does she think that was weird.
yeah.
She had to eat things to pass through a door, but she does, and then she gets big, and then she gets small. But not once she questions that that shouldn't be happening. And
Mm.
I think Neil, he is just like Alice. He he offers him the feels, and it's just he just take that for normality. It's just normal is just, you know,
Yeah.
let me play by these new rules because they seem reasonable to me, you know.
Yeah, yeah. There's something to be said there about accepting frames that people present to you. Like Morpheus gives you two options: you take the red pill or the blue pill. But actually, there's three options: you
Hmm.
take the red pill, or you take the blue pill, or you don't take a pill. You know,
Yeah.
but a lot of people can be stuck in one frame. The other person presents them two options, and then this constrains their thinking. They think, oh, these are my only two options. And it's like, no, no, you can also not accept the whole proposition that someone else is presenting to you.
Interesting. We attempt to choose one or the other. Yeah. Yeah, but the movie wouldn't have happened
No,
if
no, yeah, yeah, it'd be a boring movie if he, yeah, if he just says no. Yeah, yeah, no. So I'm glad he takes the red pill. Yeah,
So another quote that I would like to talk to you. That's my favorite. Everyone is my every quote is my every line. It's my favorite quote. So when he is with the young monkey, when he goes to see the oracle, uh, and he sees this young child bending the spoon. Do you remember this scene?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, and then he says he didn't say, he just looks and he's intrigued by it, and then the boy says, um, do not try to bend the spoon, that's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. What truth? He says, there is no spoon. And I was like, whoa, there is no spoon.
yeah.
So the spoon does not exist. What I hear in non duality teachings is that I don't understand that, but I keep hearing and reading that there is no spoon, there is no one I mean, there
Hmm.
is just one, and it's I hear that it's just me interacting with myself, and I am seeing things where they're not. There is no difference between me and a chair, and sometimes I keep staring at chair uh,
Yeah.
and like I don't know. It's difficult. I don't know. So the
Yeah.
spoon does not exist. What exists is the idea of the spoon, and I think that what he meant is that the spoon in the movie, it is a programming, is a code.
Hmm.
So there is no spoon, but there is his mind, and if he bans his mind, what is real in the movie, uh, he will see that there is no spoon. And I think that when he believes that there is no spoon, it's when he can fly, he can break the rules of anything and everything,
Mm.
because there is, I mean physical laws, there is no gravity, there is no time, and he can do whatever he wants once he understands that he is inside of matrix. And
Mm.
yeah, so I had this question for you. Can we change reality by changing our perspectives?
Yeah. So I would just question the change reality. I don't think it's a matter of changing reality is what it is.
Yeah.
It's it's changing your like relationship to reality, or it's
Mm,
changing, yeah, by changing your perspective you change how reality presents itself, but this isn't fundamentally changing reality. But yeah, you can certainly um, different states of mind yield different perspectives that they come with different metaphysical attitudes as
mm-hmm,
well.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. So reality, it is what it is. We change our relation to reality by changing the way we think about it.
Not think necessarily. Think, yeah, okay, but also there's more modalities to change than just your thinking about reality, but you can change your uh, the way you use your attention.
Mm.
That gives you a different perspective, right?
Hmm. I have heard also that there are some monkeys, some monks, some spiritual teachers who
Some monkeys, did you say?
monks, sorry,
Oh,
no,
monks. Okay.
monks.
I thought you said monkeys.
I did.
Some
I did say.
spiritual
I did.
monkey teachers. Yeah.
No, I did say. I did say. Because in Portuguese we
Okay.
tend to put this e at the end of things.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh my god, monks,
I was like,
monks.
I want to meet these monkeys. Yeah.
This is spiritual monkeys. Monks. It's funny. Who developed some, I'm not sure which powers, some healing powers, or some, I've heard some people talking that it is possible to travel to another place where the person is not at, you know,
Yeah.
just by using the mind. I have heard some things like that. And I was wondering if those people who developed superpowers, if they just found a way of bending reality, or maybe understanding it so deeply that they developed some powers that we think that as superhuman powers, but maybe it's just the ordinary. How? What do you think? Have you heard of it?
Yeah. Cities, right? You're referring to
Yeah,
cities.
cities. Yes, cities. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, my take on it is, I I mean, I lean more towards the direction that I don't believe in them.
Mhm.
I have no contact with anything like that, anything, and haven't witnessed anything, and yeah, be yeah, until proven otherwise, I don't believe in that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I understand the line of thinking. Perhaps could yeah, could it be possible that to comprehend reality at such a deep level that you can, I don't know, have more command over it?
Mhm.
I don't know. One thing I've heard is in the lucid dreaming scene. You know about lucid
Yeah,
dreaming?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, when you get better at lucid dreaming, you can do the kind of stuff that they talk about, these cities
Mhm.
that they're capable of. And I don't know, I've heard some explanations that they could just be talking about lucid dream states or, um, yeah, I haven't looked into it much, but what do you think? Do you
Mm,
believe them or?
well, I took a course with Eckhart Tolle recently called Manifestation, and
Mm,
then he was teaching on that course how to manifest things in our reality. And I found it at first, I thought that this was, I mean, a superpower. If you can get reality to give everything you want just by
mm,
wanting it and just by thinking about it, meditating on it. And yeah, so there was this girl in the course that she said she wanted to manifest a pool in her house for her children.
mm,
And then
mm,
he said it was possible. And I just love Eckhart Tolle. I think he's amazing. And then
mm,
he was teaching, and people, they wanted all sorts of things in this course. And sometimes people were invited to the talks on Zoom, and they were some people wanted deeper things, some realizations, but other wanted uh, objects and things like a pool.
mm.
And then he was teaching on, and I think it is a superpower, sort of speak. What do you think? Do you think it is possible to manifest things, or is it a different thing than city?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to that line of thinking that has perhaps some traction to it, that if you spend a long time desiring something and wishing about something, visualizing something, you're priming yourself to maybe look for opportunities in your day-to-day life where that thing could, you can get closer to getting that thing, or you're more likely to take action if you're thinking about that thing. I don't believe it's going to be, this woman does these manifesting meditations and then a pool just suddenly appears
No.
out of nowhere. She probably, think about it so much that she'll, start looking for contractors to build the pool,
Yeah,
saving up
yeah.
money.
No,
Mm,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I believe sort of in the law of attraction, but I think it's more like programming yourself to get what you want and
mm,
using the opportunities that
mm.
come to your way, and
Come your way, come
come
your
your
way.
way. Yes, yes. So next quote. Um, I love this one when he says, "What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signs interpreted by your brain."
Signals, electrical
Signal,
signals,
yes, signals. Thank you. Signals interpret by your brain.
interpreted.
Interpreted, interpreted by your brain. Thank you, Roger. So, what is real? How do
Mm,
you know? I mean, it is possible to know what is real. I I was watching another day the a, a podcast, a spiritual teacher. He was saying that real is what you can, the closest to real is what you can see and touch and smell. What is not in your visual field, it's not real. It's thoughts and things in the mind. So if you're talking to someone like we are talking now, this is real. This is happening in the present moment. But the idea that I'll have of you after this conversation has passed,
mm,
this is imagination and not
mm,
reality. So I think it is easier for me whenever I start thinking. I think, okay, so I try to think about things in my visual field to ground myself. But even
mm.
that, I'm not sure how real is that, but it is the realest thing I have. For you?
Yeah, yeah. I think. well, like some stuff that I've been reading in, like we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
before before this, about predictive processing and sort of the cognitive science of
Mm-hmm.
perception. They've got these terms that are where you have stimuli that is processed top down via bottom up, and the bottom up processing is the more sort of raw sensate experience, just the seeing, feeling, tasting, touching, smelling. Top down derived processes are the more abstract thinking thoughts, like, you know, you make prediction models about what will happen when you walk around the corner of a street. You can't see around the corner of the street, but your mind is creating simulations that help you to try to predict and navigate through the world. You know, so yeah, and there's something to be said about, yeah. I mean, you know, your mind actually creates sort of simulations within simulations, trying to
Mm-hmm.
predict. So that not everything is a surprise to us, but try to predict, you know, how I've picked this water bottle up numerous times during this call, and I don't have direct perception of the weight of it before I pick it up, but I can predict how heavy it's likely to be, so that I'm not like picking it up and throwing it because I think it's much heavier than it actually is, or not using enough force and picking it up, you know, too lightly. Um, what is more real? I think, yeah, it makes sense to me. What, like what you said, basically what
Interesting.
you said, but I'm just
No, no, no,
talking
no.
about it in a
That
complicated way.
that is very interesting. It made me think of something that I was studying for a conversation that I had with a teacher for the channel. I was studying the narcissistic personality,
Mm,
and the narcissist. I mean, we do, like you said, we tend to anticipate and project, and so we are going to a door that we have gone 1,000 times,
mm.
so we kind of know what it is outside of it, in there, I don't know,
Oh, we're walking through a door that we've
walking through a
walked
door.
through 1,000 times.
Yeah, but a person who has this narcissistic personality disorder, the person has some lapse in the memory. The person will, sometimes it will it will lack seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or maybe less or maybe more. I don't remember the number. But so the person will try to connect. So I was here, and now I was at this point, but
Mm.
now I am here. I must have walked this walk.
I must have walked
I must
this,
have walked
yeah, this
this,
distance.
yes, this distance. So, but maybe not. Maybe the person, but so the person starts to filling the blank with
Ah,
narrative. So I was at the
yeah.
room, but now I'm drinking this glass of wine in the kitchen, so I might have come here. So it might be very difficult because they are not sure of what happened, and usually that's how one of the reasons why they get caught by their victims or the people that they are in relationships with, because they start creating stories because they don't remember, but they tend to connect the dots to realize what might have happened. But the person who was present, who was seeing, know that that was not what happened, but they need to, in order to live, in order to make sense out of what's happening, they need to connect. And but we do too in some ways.
That's, yeah, yeah. That's fast. That's really interesting to hear. It's
Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said about being able to notice when you're storytelling and
Hmm.
notice that it is just a story. And there's incredibly refined stories that we make, even about just simple, basic, a moment to moment experience here. You know, I can create a story that I think I know what is happening. I'm on a Zoom call. I'm talking to Camila, who's in Brazil. Um, that's another story. It's a simplistic
Hmm.
story, but it could also be
Hmm.
false. You know,
Hmm.
what is more real? Well, I hear a sound. There's a sensation here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I was checking the time. I know you told me not to, but
No, it's okay. We're good.
yeah. 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 Okay. So, yeah. Another quote. Ah. 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 Okay. Oh. So, Neil, sooner or later, you're going to realize, just as I did, that there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. And I think that's so deep because sometimes I like to watch videos and listen to podcasts, podcasts, and read
Podcasts.
podcasts. And I read books. But when it comes to the practice, really, I just like the theory of it. And it's difficult for me. It's so much easier to sit and watch a video talking about non duality and spirituality and meditation and so forth than going and meditating or
Mm,
contemplating or self-inquiring. And I find it so difficult to walk the path.
mm.
What about you? Do you tend to be more practical or theoretical when it comes to spirituality?
Yeah, I really try to integrate both because I mean I love having these kind of conversations, and it's funny because the thing that gets in the way is this kind of is the intellect, the part of the mind that uses language and tries to analyze things and breaks down things. That part of your mind is sort of directly um, at odds with the non-dual experience. The non-dual experience is when you drop conceptual thinking for a moment, and then you're left with the world without definitions, and it's broken down into language.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but at the same time, there's a lot of use in being able to communicate and share ideas with this part of the mind. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, what I found is it takes time for me to really experience and understand an insight into the mind before I can begin to link up that insight with the part of my mind that uses language, and then I can begin to like confidently talk about it. Um, yeah, does that make sense?
So you start the practice first. So you integrate in your daily practice and then you talk about it. Is it because I do the other way around? I talk a lot about ideas, but for me I will only practice them once I fully
Mm.
understand what they mean. So first,
Okay.
what
Okay.
for you?
Yeah. No, I think I will. Yeah, I mean, like my experience with like meditation is often just yeah been fueled by curiosity. So getting in there, doing the practice, and just not getting it, but just
Hmm.
trying and trying and trying, and looking for whatever desired goal the meditation is supposed to lead you towards. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
am I
Hmm.
answering your question?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So, do you think there is a difference then than knowing the path and walking the path, right?
Mm.
There's a difference.
Yeah, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's more of like an embodied difference, I guess. There's somehow the wisdom is more integrated into more parts of yourself. There's
Hmm.
and I do think there's a difference between wisdom and yeah intellectual understanding of things. Yeah, the wisdom component is just more embodied. You really not to do something because sort of deep in your heart it would cause you or other people suffering, and so you're just not even tempted to do this thing. Whereas intellectually you might know, okay, I know I should behave in this way, but really my heart is, or some other part of me, is desiring to go in the wrong direction.
Hmm. Hmm.
What about you?
Interesting. I was thinking about language right now. So, what,
Mm,
what I was thinking that knowing the path. So, for example, there are a lot of teachers who teach language, especially English. It's normal with English teachers, and they have never ever learned a language, but they are teaching a language without
mm,
having the experience of learning
mm,
one themselves. But walking the path would be you have done it before, so you can show it to others because you not only have done it before, you're doing it now.
yeah,
Does it make
yeah, that's a
sense?
good. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's a good example. Yeah, and then you can have more sympathy or empathy for those at different stages on the path. You get the different stages. You know what's coming, what's to come, what's been, yeah, where you've come from.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I like that example. That's
Oh,
good.
okay, good. So let's see the last one. um so I'm trying to free your mind, Neil, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. So yeah, it reminds me of the blue and the red feel,
Mm.
and how we can be talked about.
Talking about something.
Someone can talk to us about something, and but the only way of really knowing is doing it yourself. So yeah, so that's the difficult thing. Like,
Mm.
so sometimes it is it, how can I say, it is fashion now that people go to coaches, and the coach
Oh,
how
not a passion. You mean like it's becoming
a
more
fa- n-
popular?
popular, yes, it's
Yeah.
becoming more popular that people go to other people who has done the path to tell them
Mm.
what to do.
Mm.
We want answers, but can anyone gives us an answer? Like, people, they can tell their stories and tell how they done it, but maybe, I mean, maybe no, I'm almost certain that it is a personal, the path to anything, it's very personal, and it is not a recipe, a cake recipe.
Mm. Mm.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
So yeah. I mean, yeah. It's it's very different to have gone through a transformative experience yourself than to just hear someone else
Yeah,
talk about it.
yeah, yeah,
So you agree with that, but why? Yeah, like you said before, how come you still predominantly, read and listen to other people talking about the path than doing the practice yourself, Camilla?
wow, that's
Not to put you on the spot.
no, 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 but I think I'm scared. I
Mm,
I feel like sometimes I'm onto something, but then my
mm,
heart starts beating so fast, and then I I take a step back. I have noticing in meditation and some practice, I'm like, and then it is, maybe it is my mind, maybe I'm not ready yet, or
mm,
maybe I should just let go, like, um, and experience surrender, and I don't know why I haven't yet,
mm,
but
yeah,
it's not, I don't know why it's not easy, no. Yeah,
yeah,
but I was thinking of you the other day, last week. I was organizing my computer, and then I found a draw that you sent me a year ago,
a
I
drawing,
guess. A drawing,
a drawing,
a
yeah.
drawing of an experience, can I say, waking sort of, it was called Bad Trip,
Oh
your
yeah,
draw.
yeah, I remember
And
that.
do you remember it? You sent it
Yeah,
to me, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, wow, that's so. I felt happy that I found it.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I drew that years and years ago. Yeah, yeah,
Have you
but
been drawing? or it
Yeah, I
was one
haven't
thing
been,
thing?
but I've got some more drawings I can share with you. Actually, I've
Mm,
got some more models of sort of the sense of self, how the sense of self can manifest, or
mhm.
yeah, I'll share those with you.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so the bad trip drawing is supposed to, I can just describe it. So it's a guy who's looks like he's falling off a cliff and he's trying to hang on to the edge of this cliff for dear life, and there's all these like horrible sort of ghosts, and he's having all these negative thoughts, and he's like, no, no, make it stop. And then it's just, I think, is it just two panels, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
the first one is this, he's like, no, no, make it stop, and he's scared he's going to fall off this cliff. And then the second panel is he realizes the drop was just, like a
Yeah.
couple drop, and he's like standing on the ground, and he's like, oh, actually, I had nothing to be worried about.
Yeah. 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 Maybe it is a good thing to describe what I'm going through. Maybe there's nothing to worry about
Yeah,
these practices. But yeah. Yeah.
but easier said than done. Yeah, I don't know. Our fear defense mechanisms can be really strong, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. So, Roger, I wanted to thank you for having this conversation with me. When you said that you were excited to talk about Matrix, wow, I was so happy, and I was like reading and rewatching the movie, and
oh yeah,
so thank you.
oh cool, cool. Thank you. This has been it's been a good time.
Yes, so I wish you a great week, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Likewise, and I'll share those drawings with you.
yes, please. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. So
Right,
talk
excellent.
to you soon.
Take care, Camilla. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye.